I don't know if anybody's heard, but the whole Judas and the Messiah soundtrack came out, and it was fire, and it was stockpiled with a bunch of different kinds of artists, with a bunch of different kinds of sounds, which is sick. I've yet to watch the movie.
I was literally about to say the same thing. I haven't watched the movie yet, and I like really want to see it so badly because I really love like I'm a huge Lakeith Stanfield fan and Daniel Kadea. Like they're awesome. So
Yeah, and I've been hearing a lot of good things about it.
oh yeah,
But the
definitely.
soundtrack was definitely ambitious. It's really long, and there's a whole bunch of different artists. But there's one artist in particular that just stands out, and he
Well,
does
let's
this.
say two.
Oh, it's two artists. It's two artists. 1000%. It's two artists. The track I'm talking about is What It Feels Like. Nipsey Hussle featuring Jay-Z, Hove, The Goat, by. Do goats make ba or is that
They
sheep? I don't know.
those are sheep. Sheep do the ba thing, but I also think goats do too. So I'm not
All
sure.
right,
But
I
either
digress.
way, either way.
But it's obviously it's R.I.P. Nipsey Hussle, so it's amazing hearing his voice again and on another cut that. And it seems like it seems like Jay-Z and Rock Nation has been involved with also handling some of like Nipsey
Yeah.
Hussle's releases. And regardless, whoever is handling it, his camp's doing a good job because a lot of these songs sound polished, finished, clean. Like even the thing he had on the posthumous record on the DJ Khaled album, that
Yep.
was really clean.
That was
And
very
I
good.
hate posthumous songs and albums from artists that sound clearly unfinished and probably wouldn't get the green light. This one wasn't the case though. I heard on the Twitter streets this song was also made like years ago.
So yeah, so I actually did a little research as well and found out that this Nipsey Hussle verse, is from 2013 actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the fact that it aged this well is a testament to how great of a rapper he is.
Hmm.
And now that I think about it, maybe what Jay-Z did on this record was downright criminal because he stole the show. In my eyes, he stole the show with that verse. And so that's what I got on that's what I put on Mike's plate for this first one. And for this whole week, I was just thinking like I've had his verse in my head like just stuck back and forth. Scorpion bricks before Aubrey's double disc 40 on my lap
Oh.
clap. Sound like 40 did the mix. I've been saying that line over and over again. So, Mr. Scarfo,
Oh.
how do you feel about What It Feels Like Nipsey Hussle featuring Jay-Z?
What do I feel like, Phoenix?
I didn't even catch. I'm a
Already
poet. I didn't even know.
I'm
You're a
already
poet.
yeah. I'm already throwing the puns out early on in this episode,
Bars.
right? Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Um, so I hate to say that this is gonna go all downhill from here because it won't, but this is easily my favorite song that you suggested. Definitely, this is my favorite from part one or part two of our episodes this week for sure. I think the mix, just to go like the sonic appeal of this quick, I think the mix is incredible. I loved the album as well, by the way, or the soundtrack, I should say. And I thought this was the most ambitious instrumental and just most put together, like well put together instrumental. Maybe not even that. Maybe it's just the most memorable to me, but I really loved the pianos and the hi-hats and the horns. Like that blend was just amazing. And then there's that really cool like low toned like background vocal sample that's like played throughout that's really really great. As you mentioned, Nipsey Hussle's bars are energetic, they're raw, and I just like you said, it's just an absolute testament to him as an artist to be able to still be like giving us a verse from 2013 that's still very relatable to in a 2021 climate. Really speaks, I think, to you know
Resonates still. It's like
exactly. I think that speaks to a lot of things. I think that speaks to the fact that our society still is in a place that it hasn't really progressed as much as we would like it to. I mean, we have made progress in some areas, but there's definitely areas we need to continue to progress. I think that's I think that's part of the movie. Like I definitely am really excited to watch the movie, and I know we have another single later on in one of our lists that we're gonna talk about even more. So this will definitely come up again. But yeah,
there
so
was a couple
yeah,
tracks off that soundtrack that I could have recommended, and I
definitely.
had to restrain myself, honestly.
Yeah. I think two is enough. Even though I should say, the soundtrack it's versatile. There's a lot of different artists on it. It's not like it's just like the same couple artists. So I know there's an A$AP Rocky song on there I really enjoyed. To just name
The
a few off
G
the top of my
Herbo
head.
song on there, that's
G
fire.
Herbo's was really good, absolutely. But this was my favorite for sure from the soundtrack. And
Oh, same.
even though the hook's a bit basic, I think the verses are so dense that it doesn't a really like complex hook wasn't super necessary here. And I loved like the cool table scratches. I think that even gave it like a cool like old school vibe. It's definitely like the most cinematic song from this soundtrack. But here's the thing about Jay-Z, bro.
I can
And
actually.
go ahead, go. Yes, go
Yeah.
ahead. Pause. Go ahead.
No, I can't wait. I'm upset that I'm interrupting you now because yeah, I want to hear what the thing about Jay is.
Yeah.
I think just to your point about the sound and kind of that minimalistic hook, but the cinematic instrumental and the bars kind of really being the meat and potatoes of it all. It's not just the melodies and the beat, it's not the melody and the chorus, but it's really the bars and then that that minimalist hook, it's very Nipsey, and even the cinematic instrumental is very Nipsey. Like, and I don't know,
Right.
for people who aren't super familiar with his sounds, like if you hear that instrumental, besides the fact that like it's just the mixing sounds like the production level sky high, obviously, and it has Jay-Z on it, so I'm sure money was not an issue about in terms of quality for this record. But like the beat sounds like something Nipsey would hop on. And even the way it's broken down, like just to your point of the hook, it's like very Nipsey Hussle too. And I feel like it's very West Coast, it's like a lot of those big bars, like, that are like standout. And he also gives himself a lot of space in his delivery for the bars. But like the minimalist hook part, that's like, it felt very classic West Coast to me because I feel like that's part of their style. You know what I mean?
No, totally valid point.
Please continue. Let it rip, brother.
So here's my thing with Jay-Z, all right? And I have been hot and cold with his music since the start. There's some albums that he's come out with that I think are just bona fide, absolute classic, like can't even deny how good they are. And then sometimes it's not that it's bad music. He's never, I don't think, puts out bad music, but it kind of falls a little bit short for me at times. And that's happened, I think, a lot more in the last few years rather than like a historic thing. Like, for example, like I wasn't super crazy about the Jay Electronica record, and I just thought like he was just kind of blah on that. Like, not it was bad, it was just kind of very plain Jane
really?
for me. Yeah, it just I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm overseeing, or maybe I didn't like dig enough deeper into it. Granted, I did review the album and at the time, and I haven't heard it like again or really come back to it in a year. So maybe
don't second guess yourself. Stand
might feel
your
differently.
ground. Stand
Yes,
your ground.
yeah.
You
So-
hate Jay-Z.
No. They get a little more to do with Jay Electronica, but I didn't think Jay-Z helped it that much. Having said that, though, there are sometimes I feel like Jay-Z just when he wants to rap, I feel like he does. Like, for example, this is the prime example when he was featured on What's Free with Meek Mill and Rick Ross. That track, that verse. I mean, first of all, let's not even front like Meek didn't absolutely snap. And I feel like it's the same situation here where Nipsey had an amazing verse similar to Meek's, and then Jay-Z just completely steals the show, and it's like, oh well, Meek's like best verse of all time. It's just like completely an afterthought. Overshined by Jay. And that is exactly how I felt here. This verse from Jay-Z
exactly
is ridiculous. Kiss to my wrist, I go dummy with my lap. Let these crackers storm the Capitol. One day I'm gonna have to pay for these thoughts. There's all, and then this part.
Oh my god.
This part it blew my mind. You burnt your bridge to the other side. You know you can't swim across. Y'all know you can't swim. They fried Mike after he died. Y'all know we can't win. You never land. All jokes aside, I was like, oh my god! I was like, this is incredible, like ridiculous. The lyricism here, the metaphors, the play on words, the deep, like just very socially conscious lyricism, bro. Jay-Z,
it's like, and it's socially conscious mixed with like the other rapid, the braggadocious rap style.
Exactly, and he did the same shit on What's Free, and I loved that song. It was one of my favorite songs from that year.
That verse is dirty. I have you reminded me of, like, I'm hearing it now in my head, and it's like, yeah, he killed that. Ha 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 ha. Like he did all of that. Like
the Michael Jackson line on that one, just it's, bro. When Jay-Z comes ready to, like, I don't know. I feel like there's times he maybe just goes through the motions, but I think he kind of can at this point because of where he's at. You know what I mean? And that's it's not a knock on him at all. I just think he has nothing left to prove. But I think if he's passionate about something, like he clearly was for this movie soundtrack, Judas and the Black Messiah, you can tell he put everything into this verse, writing, the flows, just just everything about it to me. Like you even said, just the beautiful mix and just the way that it's kind of just constructed, you could tell it just he went all in on it. And when he goes all in, he literally is still GOAT status, like GOAT tier. Like when you're talking like some of the greatest of all time, it's undeniable at this point that Jay-Z's in that category. You know what I mean? Even if certain albums haven't exactly resonated with me fully, like there's projects he's put out that I absolutely just can't get enough of, and certain songs that I love so much. I mean, I just remember how much I, like, even to this day, loved like the Black Album, for an example. I mean, even Reasonable Doubt is easily one of the best hip hop albums of all time, in my opinion.
There we go, Mike. Yes, you're getting great opinions right here. And I got my little Jay-Z vinyl. You know,
that's right. Oh, that's right. And you got the Blueprint right there. So, like, again, another great project. But yeah, some things fell flat. Like the Blueprint 3 wasn't like a favorite of mine. Like I thought that fell a little bit flat. Like
definitely.
He's had misses.
And I think those pockets where he falls flat have been kind of obvious. And like, if we're gonna go off cuff for me, like, you know, Blueprint 3 was like poppy, mainstream reaching kind of, but like Empire State of Mind, it's funny, like that's an undeniable hit, you know what I mean?
Oh, no, no. I'm not saying for a second like when he's had albums that he hasn't had good hits on those albums, right? And I think we're you know, when we're talking Jay-Z, I think we are holding him to the standard of the GOAT status, right? So it's like his worst could be somebody else's best. You know what I'm saying? So this
for sure.
It's not a knock on Jay whatsoever. So Jay-Z, if you're listening to this, like don't sue us. I love you and I love this song. Like this has to be one of my favorite songs of the year so far. I know it's really early, but there's no question that this is gonna be in the mix for like my end of the year. You know what I mean? Like it'll be there, put it that way. Like
those opening bars, even, dude, the opening bars to like, you know, to have the little wordplay, like I think at this point it's really not it's not a sub. I don't think it's a diss towards Drizzy or nothing. But like just to, you know, to have the courage, like it's only somebody like Jay that could have an opening bar about Drake and it doesn't turn into Drake, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because this is obviously not a guy he's not punching up when he's punching at Drake. You know what I mean? Like really anybody he's referencing is a punch down for him.
Right.
But like just even the flow of that, bro. Scorpion bricks before Aubrey's doubled. That's poetry to me. 40 on my lap, clap, like
yeah. Like you would have thought 40 produced it. Like I couldn't believe it. Like Jay-Z came back with a ferocity in his tone when he spit these bars that you can just clearly they're so audible. You know what I mean? So overall, I love this track. It's definitely like I think we started on a high note, but you know, out of the 12 songs we're going to talk about over the course of these 2 episodes, this is easily a highlight for me.
That's good to hear, dude. That's good to hear. I needed to hear that.
Starting off strong. I think we're going to disagree on some other things down the line, but